So we are going to look at this question briefly. The question is very easy, but somehow confusing. Now the question says, using structural features, identifies four structural features. Using structural examples, identify four structural features of morphine and analogues that may not be necessary for analgesic activity. Now, what are those structural features of morphine and related compound or analog that may not be necessary for analgesic activity? Now, first of all, you draw the structure of morphine. All right. Now, after drawing the structure of morphine, you can now indicate like this. The numbering for morphine structure is usually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't number 9 here. So 9 will be here. 10, 11, 12. Am I making a mistake? Okay. 8, 9, 10. Okay. Yeah. Here will be 11. Here will be 12. Here will be 12. Here will be 13. Here will be 14. Here will be 15. Here will be 16. You cannot state, if you look at some of the analog of morphine we've looked at, we said that position number 6 and 7 is not necessary for what? For activity. It's part of the SA arrow for morphine, the structural activity relationship. So having identified that, you are now going to state that from the morphine structure, position number 7 and 8, the double bond at 7 and 8 is not necessary for activity, as seen in hydromorphine, or you can say as seen in as seen in dihydromorphans or morphinone. All right. So at this position, you cannot actually see those this double bond. So this double bond is not necessary for activity. Then another thing that is not necessary for activity based on the structure of morphine is this ether linkage. This epoxide linkage here is not necessary for activity, as benzomorphans morphinans rather, not benzomorphan. Benzomorphans don't have it also, but most, especially this class of compounds here which I'm drawing does not also need that. All right. If you have something like this, nitrogen, and then of course here is CH3. Are you getting it? What you have here is CH3. Now you can see this one here. This one is called morphinan. Morphinans do not have this epoxide linkage, so that is not also important for analgesic activity. Is that okay? That is one other structure that is not important for what? Analgesic activity. Also, you can see that for morphinans, this OH here is still there. All right. I think the OH there is still there for morphinans. As they also have that OH, most of them, like if you talked about the levafanol and the 14-hydroxy derivative, all of them, they have this OH present here. All right. But the OH at position number 6, it seems not to be what? Important for analgesic activity, because you can see this OH here, but that at position number 6 is not actually there. So we've listed how many structural features now? You can see we've listed, the first one was this double bond here. It's not important for analgesic activity. We've talked about this epoxide linkage as seen in morphinans are not important for analgesic activity. Now the OH at position number 6 is also not important for what? Analgesic activity. So these are three structural features already that are not important for analgesic activity. Now, what other structural feature do you think that is not important for analgesic activity? Now, if you look at the other class of compound, because after removing this one, you got this one, then the next one is the removal of this particular one here, this group here. If you remove this group from here, you are going to get another thing entirely, like remove this bond here and then this bond here. If you remove this bond here, you are now going to get the 6,7 benzomorphans. If I want to draw the structure of 6,7 benzomorphan, it will be something like this. Let me try. You have the benzene ring. Want to draw the structure of benzomorphan. This is the benzene ring, and then please just draw an 8-member ring first. Then from there we'll now start putting in the various things. Now after the 8-member ring, here you have it as nitrogen. All right, then you are now having this group here. I don't think this one comes from here. I think if you want to count, okay, this is benzene ring. This is the nitrogen group here. There is something I'm missing out. I'm missing out something. So you are supposed to have the nitrogen here at this position. Then you are now having this one here. Please take note too. You're having the nitrogen here at this position. Then you are now going to have this one here, a linkage between here and here. Just know that the linkage will be on the second one from this side, and then 1, 2, 3, the third one from this side, while the nitrogen will be somewhere around here, right? And we are told that there will be a substituent at this position because the numbering is like this. You have here as your number 1, here will be your number 2, here will be 3, here will be 4, here will be 5, here will be 6, here will be 7, here will be 8, here will be what? 9. So there must be a substituent at position number 9, which can be a methyl substituent, and position number what? 5. This structure here is called 6,7 benzomorphan. Now, what other structural feature do you actually see that is not important in this particular one here? Now you can see that this one here, which of them do you think we can actually look at here that is not really important? This ring here, you see that this ring here is not important for activity because you can see that the ring was actually broken off. So that ring, this particular ring here is not important for what? Biological activity. I mean this ring here. Alright? It's not important for biological activity because you can see in benzomorphan they don't have this ring here, but they are still biologically active. That means they still possess their analgesic activity. Do you understand that concept now? Now, if you look at the other class of compounds where we have pethidine and co, those class of compounds, they are like this. What is the structure of 4-phenyl? I think 4-phenyl piperidine, right? You have the pyridine, which is something like this, bonded to what? Phenyl group, something like this, right? And then this is more like phenyl group, and then you are told that this is 4-phenyl piperidine. At this position here, you have CO, then you have CH3. I think there's CH3 under here, piperidine, so it's not supposed to have anything here. And then here is something like this. I think this is the structure of pethidine. I want to get the structure of pethidine. Yes, meperidine or petidine. This is structure of meperidine or petidine. So you can actually see that the isoquinoline nucleus is not important for biological activity, because if you look at what we did initially, they told you that this structure of benzene, if you want to break it down, you can break it down into, you have the isoquinoline nucleus, you have the 4-phenylpiperidine with quaternary carbon, right? We have a diphenylbenfuran, and then a partially hydrogenated phenanthrene nucleus. You discover that, but you now discover that even the partially hydrogenated phenanthrene nucleus is almost not required for what? For activity, because almost everything you can actually see here, they don't have that 4 okay, this one has it, partially hydrogenated. Morphinans have it. I think these ones too, they also have it. Okay, this one don't have it. These ones don't have it. They don't have that partially hydrogenated phenanthrene nucleus. So that one too is also one of them that is not relevant for biological activity. So that is what this question is actually trying to ask you, that using structural example, identify 4 structural features of morphines and analog that may not be necessary for what? Analgesic activity. Is that okay? This is structure of meperidine, or what is another name for it? Petidine. Is that okay? So that is basically everything for this part. Thank you very much for your time. See you in the next